Just a few comments on TM3, which of course is due in next week. First of all, it's a TMA of 2,200 words, but look carefully at the way that they've split the word limits. 700 for the first part, 1,500 for the second. So please don't be tempted to write 1,100 on each. The first question needs to be much shorter than the second. The other thing to remember, these are problem questions and you need to address the issues in the problem. So structure your answer to answer the question. What I'm not looking for is a general essay on the Contempt of Court Act, on human rights where it applies to freedom of expression, and on judicial review. I want you to answer the questions, and as you answer the questions, explain those points of law. So the first question is about the Contempt of Court Act, and there are some key concepts that you're going to need to explain as you go through your answer. So first of all, we're going to be looking at this question of strict liability. Make sure that you get the point across that this offence is committed whether or not you intend to interfere. The only question is, has what's happened caused a substantial risk of interference with the administration of justice? So as you look through the Contempt of Court Act, look at the key parts of the offence and highlight them and explain them. The substantial risk, again, look at the circumstances. What kind of court hearing is going to be followed? Is it before a magistrate or is it before a jury? And is that going to make a difference as to whether there is a substantial risk? So go through the Contempt of Court Act. Of course, explain the position with the Human Rights Act and freedom of expression. It's a balancing right, so explain whether you think the balance is correct there. But again, this is essentially a problem question where you explain the elements of the offence and come to a logical conclusion. Second part of the question is all about judicial review. And when dealing with judicial review questions, again, approach it in a very logical way. So the first question you're going to be considering is, what's the decision that's being objected to? Judicial review doesn't exist in a vacuum. There's a decision, it's being objected to, but of course judicial review isn't available merely because you object to the merits of the case. It has to be the way the decision is taken. So, as you go through that, the first question to ask is the body that you're complaining about, is its decision susceptible to judicial review? Now, it certainly would be if it's a public body, but of course private bodies can be subject to judicial review where they're carrying out a public function. So address that issue. The second issue is the claimant. Does he have standing? Again, you've got to look at the interest that he has in the outcome of the decision that he's objecting to. Then most importantly, what are the grounds? Now, you will have come across the 3 Diplock criteria, and of course the fourth now, a breach of a convention right. But those are the main headings. There are a number of labels beneath them, and in your manual, in your textbook, you'll find that there are certain phrases that keep popping up. Very often they're subheadings in the text. Things like fettering discretion. And it would be useful, even before you start this essay, just to go through and look at the various labels that might apply here. It's very unusual in judicial review that there is only one objection. So what are a whole set of possible objections from those labels? And if you look in the textbook, you find that there is even a table of subheadings. Again, make sure that you know what they are, what the circumstances are that will apply, will cause you to apply them. Again, don't be tempted into just writing a general essay on judicial review. You've got to structure it to answer the question. And finally, having decided whether judicial review is possible and on what grounds. You've got to consider what the remedies are. Again, I would stress to you, don't just give me everything that's possible, apply it. So application is the most important part of this. Thank you.